Choose the investigation. Victims have all something in common and the motives seem clear, but which suspect could have done a balanced case? Stream. Casual playthrough. First playthrough. Blind. Awesome. Random victors, unknown murders, weird case, slightly more difficult than the others. The victim may feel random at first, but there's a connection, yet the motives might be hard to find, dark and confusing cases. Yeah, so this one. Story. Normal story. Actually upload this to YouTube. That'd be a good thing. Now, that's it. I'll do it. And I'm gonna put it to Facebook. And, alright, cool. Here. So, can you hear me? Or do I need to speak up? You're fine. Take a deep breath. So, you've spent 2 weeks in the coma. The world bounces around you. You need a phone. Here we go. Alright. Coma. World scratches along through. The word scratches along through. Yes, you were in a coma. Yes, you were a victim of assault. The word resonates with victim. Well, where a serial killer is currently on the loose, that is. You feel the contents stomach crawling your throat. The judge, as the police call the killer, assaulted you. The bullet touched the liver and they catch the judge? No. Both cops. The doctor is silent for a second. A very awkward second. She hesitates. The police would like to see you as soon as possible to ask some questions. After all, you're the only one who survived the judge. Noise in the hallway attracts your attention. Try to turn your head away. There. You need to rest. She leaves the room, her voice resonates. Don't care, he's the only witness. Another female voice joins in with a strong authorization voice. Can't clearly make out what she's saying. A strange feeling washes over you. It's not pain, it's not fatigue. Some odd combination of the two. Before being in this hospital, you realized that anger was made up of a combination of pain and exhaustion. Anger. Feeling you know all too well. Days go, and a month later. Oh look, I've got a bit of a problem. A real problem that is. You have a pounding headache. It's the first night behind the wheel since the attack. Hey, you catch your boss's eye. Yeah. He stares at you for a second. Two without. Sometimes I wonder what's going inside your head. You always seem far away. I'm listening. Okay. He's watching you closely, trying to make out what's going on. You know I'm worried about you, don't you? I know. You're like a son to me, you know. I know. To tell you the story of the taxi fleet again. When my father died and left the store, I could have sold it. Could have retired, gone back to the old family home. But I decided to start a cab fleet with the money he left me to hire the guys from Old Bay. And that's why I got 45 guys like you working for me. His hands flutter in the air. Well, they're around him, but hey. Through none of them are any match for you. He smiles. His voice suddenly takes a serious note. Do you want me to go over everything again? He points to the dashboard that made out the GPS. You haven't Alright then. Well, the map. Well, first the map. You spot potential customers and try to guess where they're going, then you decide. When a customer orders a taxi, if there's no one else around, you go pick them up. He shrugs. That's the way it goes, it's business. No problem. The order's fair, you look at your map and decide whether or not you want to take them. And then you drive. He flashes a quick, mechanical smile. You know it well when he talks about it. He talks about work. He talks about work, that's all. When your shift is over, we do the numbers and his voice trails off and searches for the right words. Okay, there we go. And that's all, it's pretty simple. There's no reason why you can't do it. Alright, now overtime. We're in front here and the rules, and there are rules and regulations. You might not see it that way, but no one likes having to drive who haven't slept for 24 hours. He looks away at something bothering him since he got into the cab. Anyhow, you know the ropes, you get it. I know you're going to do a good job. Smarter. The boss keeps quiet for a while, then hesitates to speak, and then I don't think it's a good idea. You shouldn't be driving. The murderer is still out there, and we think he's gonna come back for you. He doesn't know who we are. Maybe we? Your colleagues. I do too. Anyway, I'll let you get back to work. Every minute spent in a taxi is a minute lost. He gives you a smile, half ironic, half serious. Good night. 70 years and good luck. He'll spend the rest of the night dealing with problems and drivers. You wonder how and when the guy ever gets any sleep. Your boss opens the door and exits the cab. You watch him cross the street and enter the fleet garage. A couple of colleagues are miling about. Taxis are coming and going. They're all ignoring you constantly, consciously and unconsciously. You are branded. You sit there a moment. You turn the key in the ignition. The hum of the engine sends a tingle down your spine. It's impossible to describe how you missed that feeling. It's back to the night shift, back to life. Despite the attack, despite it all. Alright, cool. Look at this guy. Okay, I'm gonna. Alright, cool. Sure. You pull up in front of the American embassy. You can't recall ever picking up a customer here. They're probably on a flea on their own, or a contract with a private company. Door opens and immediately you would take immediately liking to the guy who gets in. You find him somehow reassuring, like a lost tourist. He babbles something in English. You have to listen hard and make out the address. Sorry, I'm just back in Paris. I forgot my manners. He flashes a sparkling smile. His voice is tingled with a slight American accent. You turn the key into the ignition. Thanks. What's your name, pal? You're surprised to him. Use the familiar two form straight off the bat. Nice to meet you, Jose. He stares at you intently for a moment. My name is... He nods slowly and disheartened, as if he's disheartened. If I reveal my name, I'll be... He pauses. What? He pauses way too long to be a joke. He faces darkness. It's a different man. And then his face goes into a grin. Hey amigo, I'm joking. I work with the CSI, that's all. You're an undercover agent? Yeah, you could say that. Is that why your French is so good? I speak 8 other languages too, Jesus. You give a low whistle. Not bad for a Yankee, yeah? He bursts into laughter. No wonder I'm a spy, yeah, amigo? Since silence hangs in the air, your passenger seems to be formulating his thoughts. You married, amigo? You shake your head. No. Got a girlfriend? Another negative nod. Too bad. A good-looking guy like you two all alone. That's a waste. What a waste. He gazes absently out of the window. Americans are like that, laid back yet distant. Maybe it's the booze, amigo. But I can't get this woman out of my head tonight. Man, what a woman. I'm not gonna tell you where she's from. You just have to ask a ton of questions. And if you ask questions, I'm gonna have to lie to you, pal. And with you, I don't wanna lie. You look like you're a chick type. I love that French expression. Chick type, a good guy. A far off look comes over his face. So what's your story? He clears his throat, then falls into a long silence, as if wondering where to begin. It all started in a place in Africa. Between you and me, pal, I really like Africa. People there are more alive, serious. You just need to spend a couple of weeks there, no more than that, or you'll go nuts. You clench your teeth and remain perfectly still. I feel like I've got the dude already. We were working with this mister there. Not a chick type like you. A traitor. A real son of a... Yeah, I can imagine. He stares blankly into space, wondering perhaps if he... Don't even know how to pronounce that word. Some big secret, and then continues his story. A note of bitterness has crept into his voice. Anyway, the guy wasn't getting difficult. We had two choices: either convince him to see the things from our way or sabotage his car. That's what makes work in Africa so easy. The cars, I mean, every continent has their own little quirk, a way to getting things done without any trouble. In Africa, it's the cars. So I contacted the Mrs. family and met his wife. A lady, of course. She was so beautiful, Amigo's such a beauty. His voice slowed, like worn out LP. There was a franchise in his fierceness in his eyes, know what I mean, an animal spirit. A lopsided grin spreads over his drunken face. She said she didn't like the Americans, preferred the French for their straightforward ways. She made she made me laugh. When someone dies in America, there's always a Frenchman in the picture, either supplied the bullet, the gun, or the guy who shot. He runs his finger along the seam of his jeans. The material is heavy, almost coarse. She was so beautiful. He's gone off to some faraway time and place. You pull up to the address he'd given you, the bar that keeps late night hours. But my markers on the top is still whatever. You make out snatches of animated conversations behind the lowered roller shutters. That all at once he snapped out of his funk. This bar, amigo, is run by Russians. I don't know. From the Soviet era. The boss spent 10 years in the Gulag. Can you imagine? The Russians, those guys really knew how to deal with prisoners. That's where I would have sent that traitor, Snowden. And now it's the Russians who are protecting him. He breaks off and raps at the window. Snowden? Anyhow, who cares? He's a traitor, he's a real son of a... He reaches into his pocket and hands you a tip. You hesitate a moment, they accept the crumpled note. He exits the cab. He offers his parting words. Not a word about what I told you tonight, okay? His words hang ominously in the air. Not a word to anyone about this drive. He climbs out of the cab howling with laughter. You sit there for a moment feeling pretty dumb. Start up the cab. I don't know. This one. Sure. A beautiful woman climbs into your car. There is something comforting about her. No, I missed it. But don't worry, I'm taking a cab. Anyhow, I just wanted you to know. For a minute she's talking to herself. But she leans over and whispers her address into your ear. I think you really enjoyed today. As you start the cab, you notice a hands-free headset practically hidden in a thick head of hair. I'll message his feet and then let you do the rest. Message his feet, okay?
A small laugh escapes her. Or the other way around, sure. And cruise. Okay. It's normal to feel a little awkward at first or uncomfortable, I mean not knowing what to do. But you'll see a couple of more days and you'll get the hang of it. Anyway, you should get to bed now. You need to keep up your strength. She stopped talking, her phone call has ended. She catches your eye in the rearview mirror and bursts out of laughter. You look shocked. Not at all. Your passenger crosses her legs and gives her a playful pout. Tis, I don't believe you. You're letting your imagination run wild. You're exactly what you're imagining. What exactly are you imagining? That I'm not on my way home from a threesome or something. There's a mischievous gleam in her eye. Could be. She lowers her gaze and turns her head, serious all of a sudden. But I'm not. The truth isn't that rosy. Actually, I was at my son's house. I've been taking care of him since his accident. I'm a nurse. Don't be, you had nothing to do with it. She pauses dramatically. At least I don't think you did. You don't happen to drive a semi in your spare time, do you? A smile of dry amusement flickers across your passenger's face. Anyway, he's been in a coma for weeks now. Grade 2, not a total vegetable, but not all that healthy either. So I had them move to his place. Cruz and I are taking care of him now. Cruz? His fiancée. A lovely girl. Your passenger puts her hand to her mouth and smothers a giggle. Totally inhabited, but sweet. Very religious, she prays in Spanish at his bedside every night. They've been going at it for 2 years now, and still I don't think she blushes. Well, you know. Wow, okay, she's waiting for marriage then. A brief silence, you find yourself trying to think of something to say. How's it holding up? Your passenger doesn't answer right away. You're afraid you're embarrassed her, but her face looks relaxed. I work in palliative care. You know, I spent the last 8 years of my life taking care of people who are going to die. The only question worth asking is how long before they die. It helps keep things in perspective. In my son's case, there's still hope, and at last I can help. I mean, I know how to do it anyhow. For one thing, there's the day-to-day stuff, nails, hair, beard, it all grows like crazy. There's lots of maintenance, like a gardener. Same for the teeth. We have to brush them every now and then. Because believe me, if Chichaween wakes up looking and smiling like a werewolf, we'll never hear the end of it. A smile escapes her. Your passenger sees it to review in the rearview mirror and clearly pleased. But the biggest risk is not being able to move. Our bodies are meant to move. I know it's hard to believe when your hour alarm clock goes off, but it's true. Our blood circulates, the circulation stops working correctly. Our skin gets cold, loses its elasticity. So we have to massage him as often as we can. And then there's the bed sores. Do you know what bed sores are? I think so. In the hospital, there's a lot of patients who are still curious and who have bed sores. Their bodies are racked with pain. It's like being skinned alive. The worst part is we have to change the bandages twice a day. Talk about brave. Working in a hospital is hard. The work, the pretty depression, But in the Tatooine's case, it's different. I don't have a choice. It has to be done. And actually, I'm happy. We can't talk to each other anymore. He doesn't even react when I touch him. So taking care of him is just my way of showing him I love him. That's a good thing, isn't it? Yes, it is. Pretty odd, huh? That goes how it goes. Your passenger shunders briefly. Okay, Patricia. Enough of the depressing stuff. Let's tell you something funny. Earlier tonight, Cruz and I were watching Tatooine. Is that how you say his name? Like Tatooine? I don't know. Not exactly a pleasure cruise. My son is well over 6 feet tall, and Cruz is a cross between a matchstick and a Q-tip. So managing as best as I could, rolling him onto one side and then the other. She was trying to help through the truth, and it's pretty hard for her to take. I mean, it's all new to her. It can't be much fun. So she was muttering religious mumbo jumbo, speaking Spanish, Dios mío, and whatever. I'm just gonna say Tatooine. I don't know. And just as I was pulling whatever her song back onto his back, guess what? He had an enormous erection. For once, you started laughing. Your passenger joined in. The two of you enjoy a good long laugh. After a while, your passenger manages to catch your breath and a big old hard-on. How did Cruz react? First she turned bright red and then pulled the sheep up over as fast as she could. Your passenger marks a short pause to emphasize what's coming. But it looked even worse. It looked like the gasp of a ghost. Peals of warm laughter fill the air. For a moment you were happy, as if a weight had been lifted. You pull up to the address she had given you. You stop the car and she hands you the fare. Thanks for the conversation. The ride went by pretty fast. She reaches for the door, then stops. You can sense she's really on edge. It's good to be able to talk. It's pretty unusual in Paris to meet someone so warm. Good night. She slightly nods like a promise. You too. Good luck tonight. She shuts the door carefully and walks away. Your eyes follow her as she climbs the stairs to look to the door of her building. A moment later, she's gone. As you start the cab, you catch sight of something in the back seat. A Killnex. You wriggle around to pick it up. You unfold the handkerchief. You see the word Patricia and your phone number on the inside. You look up at the building and smile. You notice the newspaper on the back seat. Your last passenger must have left it behind, or the one before. You grab it and put it away. It could come in handy. You turn your key and drive away. Well, the door suddenly opens and a girl gets in the back seat. Having a good night? What's this? For a second you freeze. One of the cops working for the judge's case. She grins at you, her voice creaks. You remember seeing her at the hospital. Something already bothered you about her there. You know, it's pretty crazy. For weeks I've been saying to myself there's something off about you. Something not so nice. I dug around, molded over, bugged all the fellow cops about it, but I'm sure you lied to us. Didn't lie. She whistles to cut you off. Hey, I'm talking. She has cold snare on her face. You're going to be frank with you. I'm going to be frank with you. She leans over to you. I don't think you're the judge. Nah, I just can't picture it. Like you had gone to the extent of hating yourself. Yeah, between us, it's a bit of a stretch. She stares at you, but not enough of a stretch for my chief to stop going on and on about you. Seriously, he's talking about you all the time. If I didn't know better, I think he had kind of a crush on you. She smirks. No, I think he's more interested into your profile. In prison at 17. And I see Gio feels your gut. And for a murder too. Yep. You open your mouth and nothing comes out. Since you got out, you've kept a low profile, and you're lying about your name and address unchecked. It's normal. You'd say, if there's any word that gets out that your time served, no loan for your permit, no lease for your car, meaning no second chance at life. Her voice becomes softer and more warm. I personally like guys who want a second chance. No, I like guys who fight for a second chance. Basically, I like guys who are willing to work for me. She leans forward, she's shining cat-like eyes narrowing. My chief wants to go to the press sector with a first and last name with evidence. Actually knowing him, he's not so hot on evidence. So I give you information, victim suspects, medical reports, some photos that are a bit. She makes a giggling noise. You seem to be discreet. Keep it between you and me. Interrogate, ask questions, stick around. I'm not asking you to make an arrest. I'm delivering a killer wrapped up with a bow in front of the station, okay? You're not Batman. You're just here to get more information. She rummages around in her pockets to what seems like what forever. Here, take my card. I'll call you in 3-4 days to check in, we'll chat, and I'll let you know if I have any new information. She takes a dedicated, okay, whatever, patternistic tone, yeah, like she was giving you a list of recommendations for the 100th time. Don't get caught, don't get arrested. Also, I would not recommend trying to leave Paris. I know what you look like, and I know who your friends are. You could either be in the situation or the problem, my friend. She takes a minute to scan your face, your emotions. If you have to, I'll check on you know who. Her smile is biting. That reminds me she knows what you've done. That she knows you've done time. You shake your head, she snickers. Oh my little dirtbag. You cover your tracks well. I did what I could. Yeah, if you say so. She sighs in a tired, exhausted way. Don't try to mess with me, man. If things don't go well, I'll turn you in. I'll send your picture to all my friends in the media and every asshole in Paris. Your picture with your name on it, your real name. So I'm not even my real name, okay? I don't even know the real name. Anyone close to you will have their places searched. They'll be put on under house arrest, spend nights in jail. Have any intense things trial underway? You sigh. You know just what she's trying to get at. Come to think of it, your last names are almost the same. You could be brothers, actually. She smiles. Let me tell you, with that face of yours and your handle, they'll welcome you with open arms. She takes on a serious tone, business-like. I want to catch this killer personally. I want to drag him to court, ruin his life with a bang. Sorry. I can't botch this case, you got me? Neither can you, right? Obviously. Oh, great then. We'll see eye to eye. So you can just say you're my informant, my CI. You ripped open your gut and you saw your insides. You were in a coma, yet yeah, you have plenty of reasons to get back at him. She furrows her brow. Yeah, I think you're actually going to do what I tell you. You investigate, you ask questions, you listen to all the rumors, and you can come up with a list of suspects. That first dude is my first suspect. She lays her hand on the door handle and freezes. Alright, and don't get fired. Without a cab, you're worth nothing to me. You glare at her. Say nothing. She puts her hand up and you can hear her words behind her. This conversation never happened. I'll make sure to get more intel tomorrow. I'll find a way until then. Not a word to anyone, obviously, not a word. The door opens. Whatever. I'm not saying that. You sit alone for a while, teeth clenched, dry-eyed, ears buzzing. On the back seat, the couple left a pile of papers. Key in ignition, motor running. Ready run, crackles, you turn it off and start driving. Talking to passengers might unlock new documents and clues for your investigation. You will find them back at your studio after your shift. 6 clues discovered. Take a second to enjoy the silence of your studio apartment. Outside, the city is slowly waking up. You can still hear the hum of the taxi buzzing in your ears. You throw a file of Busset gave you on the table. On the way, you hang up the big cork board where you used pins of your nephews. They've been gone since you got out of. Your plan is simple. Jot down all the pieces of evidence and connect them to the suspects. The guilty party won't necessarily be the one of the most evidence against them, but the one with the most complaining evidence against them. It's like you're building a story about each suspect, trying to understand their motives, understand how he or she got into the situation. A bus goes by making the walls shake. You sigh and get to work. Okay. Well, they've got 2. So I might actually put this one here. Okay, these are all from COP. Okay. Wait, is there anything else? Nope. So we got Javier Grelio. Salim Waden. Claudia. Okay, so I'll look for these people then. Campos, Periet Bataz, Paul Marin Frangodat. Message on crime scene 3 times up. Okay, so he's message on a crime scene 3. So who's at crime scene 1? These two are both at crime scene 2. He was at crime scene 3. Killer left in chalk the first 3 crime scenes. Justice, you deserve this. Time's up. And he saw it. Okay. With a heavy hand, you wipe your tired face. You slowly open the self bed and lie down. The events of the day run through your head. The streets, the passengers, their faces, their problems. Your brain is running at full speed. Your body aches and you are in pain. You can tell you need to get more sleep. You glance at your investigation board. It looks awfully empty. Tomorrow you'll have a chance to fill it up more. You shake your head and your mind wanders for a second. Your eyelids flutter once you're asleep. You open one eye. For a second there, you hope the evidence board was just a dream too. But you can make it out in the shadows. You get up quickly. A few minutes later, you're outside of your studio. Night 2. You park a few streets away from the Argentinian embassy. You wait there for your contact. You sigh. It seems so odd that to have a contact so exclusive. This guy is one of your regular pokey buddies, a night watchman at the embassy. You get out of your taxi and walk towards the big metal gates, clean lines, early 20th century, maybe lots of iron. The gate opens and someone moves towards you. They indicate you should follow them. The person's face is hidden in an oversized hoodie. Your heart starts beating faster. What if it was? Follow. You walk into a narrow converted passageway, probably the entrance to the parking garage. A man turns around and lights up a cigarette. The lighter lights up his face for a second. A young man with curly hair, pale skin. He looks young, very young. Maybe 250 euros. For the intro? Yeah, for the intro. He laughs in a strange colourful voice. What do you think it was a day? What you want information on? Oh, I think this is the old dude. I got information and it'll cost 250. Bargain. You raise your hand from the chest and your axe a bit stronger. No, it's 250 euros. Nothing. Someone leans. I've fished around. They'll fire me. Okay, pay. For that price, you hope it's good until you pay. Listen up, cause I'm not gonna say this twice. Gordisha is definitely a colon from the Juta. One of the few who wasn't arrested and put on trial. He is responsible for torturing dozens of political opponents. He tortured and killed them. You know, he don't like him much here, but the rich, blah 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 blah, in Paris love him. They really respect him. You know, we don't like much here, but alright. Respected him. The difference don't seem important to him. Yeah, if it makes you happy. He looks back to you. There's one last thing. I read in the newspaper the killer wrote a message in chalk, time's up. The other dude, the middle dude, saw that. Sort of watchword from their opponents. It was time for them to go. You get it? You nod. A second later, you're back in your taxi, the hole in your wallet, and new information of the victim. If you follow this lead, your maybe investigation will move forward. You start your car and get back to your shift. Look at this one. Two young women escort girls across the okay. You immediately recognize the passenger getting into the taxi. That's the dude. You never watch television, rarely listen to the radio, you don't read the newspaper, and yet Francesco de la Niedes, polemist, novelist, colonist, politician too, you think. Your passenger discreetly gives you his address. You start driving. He appears to be out of breath, his voice and hands are shaking. Unbelievable. He separates each syllable as if he was going to protect him from the violence around him. Unbelievable. Everything okay? Can you even begin to fathom what a public danger this represents? What? A mere 5 minutes ago, I wanted to cross the street. Suddenly, slicing through the darkness is
deafening silence came an electric car. This asphalt-covered asphalt-coated tires drove right over the tip of my loafer. It's shot, I could tell. The leather is compressed and streaked with mud and soot. It's a travesty. He begins writing furiously. You catch a few words from time to time. What if for the environment? Create more road death. Save polar bears. Okay. He leaves you hanging for a second before grinding. Another badly thought out stunt from the snowflake hipster lobby. You are? Electric planes that are crashed into Charles de Gaulle Airport without a second. You hear a throaty laugh. The earth, safe, intact, clean, but at what cost? No way, Joes. Our planet produces oil, so we must use it. No, we don't. We don't have to use it. It would be unnatural not to. Unnatural indeed. He chuckles crudely. Rise up in defense of the sweet purr of the convertible, just as they would the hoot of the owl, in danger of extinction in the lush forest of the Champagne region. Ah, murder, assassin. Okay, he's a journal. I get it. The furious silence made the oppress us. He puts down his notebook and a wolfish grin spreads across his face. Yes, magnificent. Editorial. Just magnificent. What about you? What would you want to have a silent car? Why on God's green earth? Better for the environment? Come on. What if environmentally friendly about the weapon of mass destruction? These cars are going to kill hundreds, thousands of people. Their silence will not be the carbon dioxide of the 21st century. They will infiltrate our cities, our countrysides. They'll mow down us on foot, on bike, even in another car. I'll tell it as it is, whatever. As I see it, noise is life. A city without noise is not a city, mark my words. Oh Jesus. You drive in silence for a few minutes in the back seat. The polemist is fuming, and you catch an occasional snippet of nonsense. The taxi has almost reached the passenger's place. It's just here. You pull up in front of his address, the old building freshly renovated. On the top floor, the bay windows shine faintly in the darkness. The Eiffel Tower spotlight washes over them. Your passenger sighs. Oh, the devils, the fools. It's the middle of the night and they're still having the time of their lives. He opens the window on the side and screams at the packed cafe. The heated patio is filled with young people, well dressed and quite drunk. When will you cease this madness? Then turns to you to whisper as if a secret. Every night they make
one hell of a racket, impossible to get a wink of sleep. He pays, gets out of the car, and is in front of the bar in 3 angry leaps. You can hear his voice from far away, a few words, some outdated swearing, with a whiff of senility. I don't know. You stop listening and drive off. You can drive a cat around, really? This one's flashing, so. Policewoman crosses the street and freezes. She's shown to fly. Okay. You immediately recognize the passenger who climbed into the cab. That's one of the people. That's one of the suspects. His face has been plastered all over the news for the past few weeks. He's a lawyer. A lawyer who is representing the terrorist. He gives you the address and starts driving. He holds your gaze in the rearview mirror, like he's trying to read your mind. You drive across a virtually empty paddock. Behind you, the lawyer nervously consults his notes. Everything alright? He answers without looking up. Yes. You get the message and leave him alone. You continue driving without saying a word. Your passenger mutters, why did he say that to the cops? He's not taking this seriously. He doesn't get it. Idiot. There again. He says it again. Eh. Is he contradicting himself, or just? He glances in your mirror. The lawyer looks like a smaller version of himself. You sure everything's alright? He closes his eyes and remains silent for a while. You see him start to break. I can't take it anymore. He takes a deep breath and loses control of his voice. This guy's a real. He's not just a monster, he's a total idiot. Tears fall from the corner of his eyes. I'd never seen such a moronic defendant. You know what it's like to defend a moron? You know what it's like to get only 3 hours of sleep a night so you can defend a fucking moron? Whoops, sorry. Do you have any idea? He yells so loudly the windows shake. I'm sorry. He answers, his voice is icy cold. No need to apologize. There's nothing to be sorry about. He pauses, barely. Just to take a deep breath. Jesus effing already. He kicks the seat in front of him. Jesus. He calms himself down to steady his breath. I'm the one who agreed to it. I actually fought to represent him. And it's my own damn fault I'm being dragged through the mud. He raised his hands. Yeah, I admit it. At first it was pretty good being on TV, all the interviewers, journalists asking my opinion about everything. I shook my head I shook so many hands and said so many sentences, yet I actually said nothing. When I worked in the hood, not a single person cared about my work. And now in 5 hours, I have to be on the radio in 7 on TV. He pauses, breathes. He pauses, breathes. His voice sounds further and further away. You just need to try and calm down. I don't even know what that means anymore. Actually, it's simple. I must never get rest. When I lie in bed, I stare at the ceiling, go over the evidence in my head. He sits up. It's barbaric, disgusting, so horrific, it's almost unreal. He lets out a sigh. And then I discover my client bought nails, the nails that were in the bombs at the corner market, and he kept the receipt. He kept the receipt, folded it in half and slipped it in his wallet. That's what I see when I close my eyes. Disemboweled bodies and the receipt for €2 worth of nails. Why? He raises his voice quite high. Why, for God's sake? He thought he could expend. What? He thought he could expense it when he got to heaven, sorry. He sighs, so stupid and so dangerous. He disgusts me. He revolts me. Because everyone has the right to an attorney, everyone without explanation. Otherwise justice is no longer just. His fit of rage subsides, his fingers are shaking. When I signed on, I thought I'd be representing someone crazy. And I find out he's just a moron who played too many video games. The guy has never even read a book, never even read the holy book they use to justify their so-called act of martyrdom, whatever. He read a few passages online. Do you have any idea what a complete moron he is? He chuckles. I'm sorry, I'm truly sorry. I shouldn't have said all that. He takes a deep breath. I don't have anyone else to talk about it. All the other lawyers avoid me like the plague. My mother can't understand why I'm doing this. She's so ashamed she went back to Agiria. He's shaking. I get the shame. What I don't get is when people just lump things together. I am not a terrorist. I am not a murderer. You made the right choices, no one else would do it. He's a terrorist. Yes, and that's why we need to do more to prove all these extremists, these terrorists, that we're better than them. That along keeps me going. Because let me be frank with you. His voice is suddenly extremely calm.
Would you hang him right now? Right now, and no one, I'm telling you, would shed a tear. He stays quiet for a moment and catches your gaze. That's why I keep doing this. He slows his breathing. For equality, our country was funded on it. These rights have been abused far too often for me to look the other way. His anger seems to be lifting. The taxi has almost reached its destination. In the backseat, the lawyer is much calmer. His voice is soft. I needed to be reminded of this. This was to serve as a lesson. He looks at you in the mirror and bores into you with a gaze. It's odd, isn't it? That I run into you tonight as if no, don't forget it. You pull up and you pace his fare. Wait, don't take this the wrong way, but he hands you another bill. Here, this is for listening. This is for you, for listening, for hearing what I had to say. You slide the bill into your pocket. He looks relieved, gathering his belongings across the backseat. He's getting out of the cab. You realize he left an envelope behind. For a tiny second, you hesitate. It could be something important. He freezes, notices the envelope and grabs it hastily. You can tell he's uncomfortable. He didn't say another word. He gets out of the taxi with a few steps away and turns around and waves. You drive off. Oh, nice. Don't recognize any of. I might go for this dude. Sure. The passenger taxi is drunk. He all but trips as he's getting into the back seat, leaving a piece of junk jacket stuck in the door as he slams it 10 times too hard. The whole street must have heard it. He tries to keep his calm as gives you his address. You start driving, but keep an eye on him. You never know. His head lolls, his eyes roll. He rummages through his pockets looking for his phone. In vain. Hey buddy, tell me, any chance you might have seen my phone? Nope. He looks around. What an idiot, I lost it earlier. Not here, at the bar. He starts or somewhere. His eyes start to look like slits. Or at the bar. He's silent for a minute, trying to remember something. When he starts speaking again, he moans, "She's gonna kill me." You turn the corner and he slides the door, hitting the window hard. Oh, that hurts. Seriously, man. You okay? Yeah, no. See, my wife. She told me not to come home too late. Made me swear across my heart the whole 9 yards. She just had a baby. He corrects himself. We just had a baby. But you know, she's the one who carried her. We didn't find it in the street or anything. He smacks, he imagines that scenario. It's the cutest little baby. But I'm so done spending all my nights wiping its ass. So when my colleagues invited me out, he hiccups. Well, I mean, I said, okay, like, I went with them, right? He shakes his head, disgusted. You gotta help me. I have to prepare an alibi.
An alibi? He nods, sure of himself. Yeah, an alibi, an explanation of for where I was tonight. Explanation for where I was tonight. What I did. So she doesn't beat the shit out of me. He pauses. Dude, I'm serious. You gonna help me? Sure. Very well. Seriously? He bursts out with laughter, attempts to clap his hands together, but he misses. Holy awesome. Holy awesome. Okay, first we need to start where first we need to start with with he blanks out and
Let him sleep. A few seconds later, he struggles to wake up his eyes. Alibi. Everything alright? Yep, the alibi. We're going to start by answering the main questions in this case. He chuckles. Sound like a cop. He shakes his head. The main question in this case is, why didn't I call my wife? That's where we need to begin. What about a work emergency? I work in the Move Me business for the production company Shinobuya. Once again, his eyes start to close, his eyelids look like they weigh a ton. His voice sounds perfectly sincere. 5 years of higher education, a 250 page thesis on a Soviet film director. And now I take care of filming permits for Hollywood mega blockbusters, he sighs. There is no work emergency, nothing I do matters. He pauses, he appears to have fallen asleep and asks, why didn't I call my wife? You didn't have your phone? Yeah, but I lost it after the passenger opened his eyes and squeals like a child. That's it. She doesn't have to know I lost it after putting it back a few. You, my friend, are a genius. He claps his hand together. Alright. Okay, alright. So how I lost my phone? Stolen it. He looks at you for a second and then claps his hand together. Yeah, I got my phone stolen. Like I left it on the table at lunch and bam, gone. It's already happened to her and she get back on my case about it. He chuckles. Okay, we're good on the phone. But I didn't explain why I didn't call. I mean, she knows I have her number. I'm not sleeping, I swear, I'm thinking. He opens his mouth, a little burp escapes. I had to explain why I went out with my colleagues and I couldn't call her. I am. I just got a drink. He opened his eyes and suddenly recognizes the street. Oh, we're almost there. Quick, I know. Something happened to me at the bar. That's why she would get that it wasn't my fault, right? I had no choice. Oh, I got it. He gloats, drawling a bit. I ran into someone I knew at the bar and we had a few drinks. It was crazy, dear, just crazy. But who? What's right? Immediately convinced. Perfect, great. I know exactly who to choose. Damien. Shakes his head quickly. No, Damien works in marketing. Dylan? An old college friend, haven't seen him in years. I think he became dentamologist? Like the Tick, Spider-Man, Ant-Man. Yeah, that's it. Entomologist. Yeah, I'll tell her I ran into Daniel. and we spent the evening talking. It was got a really good friend and all. She'll be down with that. She always telling me my friends are luscious, but Daniel, he's the real thing. He's trying to save endangered species. My wife will totally get into that. Alright, something good. I have my excuse for my farm. I have my excuse for being a busy all evening. Now I just have the excuse for the West staying out late. That's enough. No, dude, not at all. I need something more solid. You know. Something that pulls the lies together, man. Lying to your wife is like a magic trick. I don't like this, but hey. You can't just saw the lady in half when the box is turned around too. I mean, the lady got to think it's funny, like, lol, hilarious. I'm cut in half and it's still shaking my feet. His eyelids drop. I need a strong final. Something well, something, you know. He looks like he's falling asleep. An old lady who got mugged. Some weird guy started following you. Your driver needed someone to talk to. An old lady got mugged. In a calm voice, he starts. He's excellent, dude. You're a total genius. Okay, I just picked all the right answers. Awesome. Suddenly, he opened his eyes. I got into a fight with some gangbangers out in the street. They were mugging an old lady. I saw them and chased the muggers away. The old lady insisted I have one drink with her, an old booze and biddle. That's why I smell like booze. And there you have it. Okay. You hear that, man? You hear what kicking a screenwriter, mate? My wife gave me a Palme d'Or for my performance. Okay, whatever. He imitates the sound of a screeching crowd. And the Palme d'Or to his Carlo for the lie invented with a super nice taxi driver. His voice lowens a bit, turning into a TV anchor. There's a Carlos. This is Carlos 10th Feb of this year. 10th Feb. Great. But it's without a doubt the finest near perfection. You read it right out like child's play. He slaps his thigh. Stop him. You shouldn't say that. He raises his head and looks to you. Has no idea what you're talking about. Huh? Nothing, don't worry about it. Just let him do what he does. Hey man, you gotta
Tell me that. Okay, come on. He bats his cheek like he's waking himself up. Let me summarize. It all begins with a moving opening scene, one that's already reached cult status. The main character phone is stolen when he leaves it on an outdoor table at the Barossa. That kind of terrible mistake most Persians, I don't know, usually never make. With no way to reach his wife, he normally would have gone straight home. But alas, he was yet unaware that amazing encounter the evening would hold. Raises 3 fingers, the kind of encounter that only have 3 times in a lifetime. Daniel. Your passenger puts on a serious expression. Yeah, you remember him. An old friend who became an entomologist. Your passenger smacks and seems happy. Oh. Why am I bouncing up and down? How an evening can fly by when you're making up lost time. When the main character notices the time, he already is very late. Too late. He hurries home, but on the way, he happens upon an old lady getting mugged. He's not a fighter, but he frightens off the hoodlums. He bursts out of laughter. He switches back to his real voice. You know, my friend, it's really not bad. I think she'll go for it. He bursts out of laughter. Plus, this kind of stuff actually always happens to me. He taps on the shoulder. You've almost reached the destination. I'm already at the destination. I just reach slow. The smug smile on the passenger's face annoys you. You park. Say nothing. You pull up in the front of the passenger's place. He pays you, opens the door. Thanks for everything, man. I couldn't have done it alone. Thank you. You watch him stagger a bit. The front door closes. You drive away. What are these people? How does it get some petrol? I'm only half a tank. Not a soul in sight. The fluorescent light irritate your eyes, and the smell of pee is wafting up from the space between the pumps. It's a self-service. Here you pay direct to the pump. The mini mart over there. It must sell newspaper. The person behind the counter must see and hear things. Might go and ask a couple of questions. The place is shady as ever. You're carefully getting out of your cab. For the tank and the shop. You walk in the mini mart. The guy behind the counter doesn't even look at you when he starts to talk in a lazy, lifeless tone. Can I help you? Doctor's clerk. Say, a guy like you, someone who spends most of the nights here, you must know something about the killer, right? He raises his head and seems almost happy you brought it up. Haha. I get the newspaper too. Good night, I guess. You know they're next to the shop. Yeah, and you taxi and drive away. Oh. Passenger gets in the cab and gives you the address. Her voice is muted far away. You start the cab. She appears rather meek, stubbled, like she's about to fade away. You look up at her. She returns your gaze, but she's not there. It's as if she weren't looking at an actual person, but at a silhouette instead, in the shape of a human being. Everything alright? Your question surprises her. Yes, I'm fine, thank you. Her eyes in the rearview mirror tell another story. You seem preoccupied. Your passenger flinches. She's obviously uncomfortable. No, it's nothing. I was thinking about my thesis. Lately, that's all I think about. Your thesis? Yes. Another word. She turned her head slightly as if she was thinking about something unpleasant. What's the subject? The progressive nuns of Rance Abbey at the dawn of the industrial era. In the air, the cab seems icy. I didn't quite get that. It's a thesis on nuns who induce Crusade industrial production regulations at a time when the rest of Europe, she says, it's deadly boring, a subject that no one is interested in. My thesis supervisor, for a start, my parents, my ex, and worst of all, even me. She stares at you. The subject is a trap. It's never explored, and it informs our practice of women in the 18th century, but no one is interested in it. That's how it goes. I got used to my thesis to the subject. Doctoral thesis is really interesting, you know. But mine, I think I hit rock bottom. Shouldn't say that. I don't need your pity. She speaks in a cool, clamped tones about any street you can find disconcreting. I choose the path I'm on. I am entirely acceptable for it. She hesitantly lifts her hand, but I'm not the one who chose my thesis, me and no one else. So she chose her thesis, sorry. To be honest, it would no doubt be the only thing that remains of me when I die. What happens if you try something new? Something new? Like what? I have no practical skills whatsoever. Do you know how to drive? She stares at you. As a matter of fact, yes, I do. Then you drive a cab.
A brief pause. I see what you are hinting, but I don't think I'll be able to do it. I'm sure your job requires more than driving skills. I'm not good with people. I wasn't either at first. And then after a day after day, I got to know people better to understand them. It's something you'll learn. She lowers her eyes. I like to believe you. Taxi driver, it's just an example. There are dozens of jobs that don't require any practical skills, as you said. You have to give it a go, try your luck. Me, before I did this job, I thought I was a good for nothing, for anything. Then someone gave me a chance, trained me, gave me. You break off. The young woman is visibly moved. Unleashed tears glimpsed into the darkness of the cab. Sorry. Don't be, it's nothing, it's me. Rye smiles, tugs at the corner of her mouth, as if she enjoys the thought of seeing loathsome people suffer. My parents think her voice is flat as she is unable to go on. It takes her a few seconds to pluck up the courage to speak again. My parents think I've made a mess of my life. I know they did. I know they do. They haven't said it, so of course. They are there for me, they help me, but deep down they know it's too late. I'm 28, I'm doing a doctoral thesis of 18th century nuns. My brother went to the top business school and earned MBAs. They married and have children. And me, I'm complying pages and pages of information on nuns. You pull up to the passenger's address, an quaint looking building in the 16th basement. I don't know. The young woman is perfectly still, seeming paralyzed. I'm very grateful to you for having tried to cheer me up. Without succession, I really appreciate you trying. A trace of smile plays across her lips. You believe that everyone has a purpose in life, she shrugs. I don't. She hands you the fare next to the cab without a word. A moment later, she's walking away, heading towards her building. You sit there for a moment longer, then start up the cab. Wait, another dude. Is that... No, it's not. Damn it. Oh well. The passenger climbs into the cab and slams the door shut behind him. Good evening. Plain St. Denis, please. He stops short, visibly sizing you up. Do you know where it is? You nod yes. And view this... not even gonna pronounce French. Sorry. So, you know the street? Yeah, sure. He looks at you intently. You know all the streets in Paris? He questions, drips with disbelief. You know his kind well, the sort who'd refer you to the Arab and not bat an eyelid. Yes, I do, monsieur. He seems hesitant. Well then, let's go. You start the cab. Your client stares out the window as if hypnotized. You watch him in the rearview mirror. His face is familiar to you, his accent too, though you'd never be able to place it. Typically of some rural religion, Central France perhaps. You take another look. That's it, you've got it. He's was a consultant on one of these reality shows where farmers meet women. I guess he was a farmer. You'd seen him on the show a few weeks before. You'd watch it for your hospital bed from your hospital bed with a distracted eye. But something about it had bothered you. The show was, I don't know, masquerade life in the country seems from a very Persian and cynical perspective, full of scorn and contempt. Okay, then you figured out who I am. His remark and his accent bring back to the present. Sorry? You recognize me, right? So you can make fun of me now. Make fun of you? He shrugs. Yeah, like all those other people out there on their 20 thing. 20? It takes you a second to realize he's talking about social media. I don't know what you meant about that. Making fun of you? Yeah, well, go on, have a good laugh. It's free, right? Why shouldn't you? Have a good laugh at my expression. My expense. Sorry. That's all I'm good for, right? His eye meets yours. He's flattering he sighs heavily, then shakes his shoulders. How can he shake his shoulders? He goes on staring at you for a while and then seems to calm down. Sorry. He shakes his head, obviously moved. His shell is starting to crack. It's a living hell. Imagine what I'm going through. It's a nightmare. 3 months ago, I was a contestant on a stupid show, Fields of Love. Well, I said yes because my wife has been dead for 25 years. I've been all alone ever since. Just me and the cows and others. He stops and shrugs. The show was aired like a month ago. At first things were fine, friends cold. And we had a good laugh and all. Then I found out the internet is laughing at me too. There are those things, I can't remember what they're called. Mums, mams, mims. You know, those pictures, memes. You have no idea what he's talking about. Smile at him. So I made myself a 20 account. So what is 20? Oh, Twitter. I get it now. To go and see what they're saying about me, calling me a virgin and a Nazi. That I screwed my cows too. He looks away as if someone else has spoken words. They practically die laughing. A farmer he doesn't want to finish the sentence. So yesterday I said I had it. I called my cousin to keep an eye on the farm and I left for Paris. I'm on my way to see the TV Jokers right now. 6 months ago, they said if I was in any problem whatsoever, they'd take care of it. Well, there is a problem. His anger is subsided somewhat, his face is returning to its normal color. What are you gonna do? What do you think they're gonna do? What's your plan that's awful? That's the way it goes nowadays. What's your plan? Hell yes, I have a plan. I'm going to show up at their office and raise Cain until they listen to me. You really gonna do that? Yeah, that's the plan. He gives an energetic nod of the head. And believe me, they're going to listen. I may be the plain old farmer, but nobody disrespects me. He squirrels his head as if to fend off their attacks. Forget it. His eyes half closed, he practically growls the words. There is no palpable air of sadness about him. At first I told him I didn't want to be on the stupid old show. It wasn't me. But they insisted they showed me pictures of the women. He lowers his eyes and then, well, I said yes. Should have never said yes. Well, you pulled up to the address he gave. The studio gates are still closed. You parked the cab and cut the engine. Is it closed? You nod yes. Am I going too fast or no? It doesn't open till 6. You point out the sign that nears the gates. He sighs. But there's hardly anybody here before 9 or 10 o'clock. I don't care, I'll wait. He rummages through his pockets and pulls out his wallet. What are you gonna ask him? I want them to apologize on TV during the show in front of everyone. To talk about all the things they changed, all the bits of sentences they cut out and put back together. He fixes his gaze on you and narrows his eyes. You know, I'm not racist. His voice is lowered and raspy. Don't believe the show. I didn't mean what I said. I didn't really say this stuff either. What exactly did you say? He stops short. Nothing. He avoids your gaze. A lot of nonsense. He fixed his gaze on you, visibly moved. I'm not very good at this, He chokes up, adjusting his hands as if he was going to disappear. When he starts up again, he's on the verge of tears. Anyhow, I'll just wait here until it opens. Yeah, I'm going too fast. Oh well. The passenger pays the fare next to the cab. You watch him for a minute as he starts to bail from the front of the gate. You notice a newspaper on the back seat. Your last passenger must have left it behind. Or one of them. You grab it and put it away. Could come in handy. I already got one. When you start the cab, but it's back to the grind.
it's nighttime. Cool. Shit. Okay. That's one night done. At the feet of the front door, you're just behind a drain pipe. You notice an envelope. It's thick and heavy. You just make out the name written in thick black marker on the front. Your real name. You take a deep breath and go inside. In the envelope, you find more information. Just as Bossett promised. You look at the new evidence on the table. It would just take a while to read everything carefully. A bus goes by, making the walls shake. You take your shoes off before getting to work. Not enough time, not enough time. What, the killer? What? The killer's height is now higher than 1.8 meters. But that's less than 1.8 meters. Spent bullet case. What's this? Messages at the crime scene. Yeah. How's there not enough time? Okay. Right, weapon. Rare gun used in the 70s. Okay, cop. Medical. Well-known lawyer. Yeah, I had him in the thing. Spent bullet case. Yeah, that's it really.